So I'm joined today by William, who has kindly decided to take part in a Breakup Q&A. And we're going to first of all listen to William's story, and then William's got some questions he would like to ask. So William, hello. And just to let everybody know, William does know he's being recorded. He knows this is going to be our podcast. So William, if you don't mind, please just letting everybody know your story, please.
Yes, sure. Hi, Vincent. Thank you. I'm glad to be a part of it. Well, my story basically, like a lot of people, I'm dating a person, and we broke up. But to go to my story, we dated almost 4 years. And we had a breakup before and went through some stuff, and then this is when I found out about this stuff and started doing it. And what it come down to is she was a little insecure, and she wasn't happy that I took a second job, which was like on the weekends, about the time and whatnot. So she got a little, I don't want to say distance then, but she was kind of, when we were going to spend time together, which I had it all planned out because the job that I picked, it was only part-time, and my boss that I had was cool and said, oh, well, you don't have to work. You can, decide, and you can, if you're going to do something tomorrow, just let me know the day before. And so everything was going fine, we had a pretty good summer, did some things, and then she started acting a little odd, a little flaky, and I noticed, and I wasn't sure, if it was just, because she was, her job was, she was having problems at her job, and that was 1 month, and then she was kind of crying about it, and then, I was listening to her and helping her through it and everything, and then one weekend, basically, I had to work, and I forgot my phone at home. Well, I forgot my iPhone watch, I should say, not my phone. And we were supposed to go out of town that weekend. I had a surprise for her, and she woke up Saturday, said she got up, said, she's gonna do laundry and whatnot, and she was all happy for hours. And I asked her if she could take my watch off the charger. And then she pretty much sent me smiley faces and emojis, and, to the point that I was going to get lucky that night. And even though she said a little more, but I won't go into that since this is PG. But anyway, so next thing I know, I asked her if she went to the library because she's going to get videos for her kid to watch in my car because I had DVD player and screens and all in there. And she said, not yet. And then all of a sudden, she said she's going to wash my car. She was okay with that and asked where my keys were. And then probably a half hour later, she said reality hit. And I didn't understand what she meant. So, long story short, she was kind of all of a sudden the mood changed. And I could tell, even though it was through text. And she didn't want to go out of town because she said something along the lines of she didn't want to have to pay me. Which I never made her pay me to go out of town, but it was a surprise anyway to go see her mom, and I wasn't telling her that. So anyway, I got home. I got here. I asked her if she washed my car. She said no. She didn't want to get in trouble, whatever. And so we packed, and I ended up telling her we were going to go, and she was fine with that. But she also mentioned, it was funny that she mentioned, when we go, let's not use our phones, or let's take pictures, a bunch of pictures, and post them, on social media. Okay, that's a little odd, but so we went on the trip. We started going. We got 30 minutes out of town. Stopped to eat and get some snacks for her son at the hotel because he likes to snack late at night. And found out that the first hotel, they booked it the wrong day for the wrong weekend. And so we talked, and we ended up coming back home. And she was kind of moody. She was moody. And I was trying to make her smile and whatnot, and I knew this, and I was trying to ask her why she was moody because she didn't eat all her food and whatnot, and those were in my head, but the word bitchy came out. I don't know why, because I don't ever use that word. So anyway, we left. We decided to go back home, and then said we could leave in the morning because I said I already paid for the hotel, and that one was booked. That was booked Sunday night, and it was a surprise. I wanted to do it. So anyway, come to find out, I went outside to get some stuff on my car, and I was washing my car because she didn't do it. And come to find out, she was in the bathroom downstairs, and she always puts the shades kind of open. I don't know why. So when I went to shut the water off, it's by the window. I saw the light on, and I seen her in there, so I was going to scare her, try to get her out of her little funk. And I seen her texting somebody, and it looked like a guy's name, and then she texted a couple different people, and then I seen someone saying, "Are you deleting the messages when you're done?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm deleting them." And then I seen her texting her mom saying, "Oh, if he thinks I'm a bitch now, wait until Wednesday." And I'm thinking, well, I never called her that. What is she talking about? I didn't even know she was talking about me for sure until I seen a few other things. Anyway, I'll skip a little bit because I know it's being long. She was talking about moving out. So I went and did some stuff for a half hour to calm down, because I wanted to have a rational conversation. So I went to ask her. I talked to her a little bit, and then I asked her about, what's this, you want to move out? I mean, if you want to move out, I was like, why don't you just tell me and just do it instead of, waiting, make me wait all week, and then when I go to work, you just disappear.
Yeah.
And she said, well, how do you know? And I'm like, I seen you texting your mom. And she got all mad and everything, and then she just yelled at me. I was like, I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing or why you're doing this. And pretty much she screamed at the top of her lungs and said, "You're effing your ex," which is my daughter's mom. She thought I was messing around with my daughter's mom, which wasn't true, but I ended up finding out that she went through my watch that day and took a bunch of pictures off of it. And because my daughter's mom does text me once in a while, and she knows that. My ex knew that because I told her that. And anytime we were sitting together, I would tell her who was texting me, just because I knew she was a little insecure. So she kind of got into it, and then she got mad. She got irate because I said something about that was disrespectful for her to go through that stuff. And she said that should be a normal thing to go through each other's phones, but yet she got irate and threatened me with the cops if she found out that I hacked her phone or I went through her phone.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird, and long story short, after that, we talked a little bit, and she went to the whole point of she ended up Facebook messaging my ex, my daughter's mom. And even my daughter's mom told her that nothing is going on between us and a few other things. And then we ended up breaking up, more or less. She said you can do whoever you want or date whoever you want or however many you want or whatever. And she said, I hope that's what you want. But she did all this upstairs in the room texting me. She didn't talk to me about it. She only talked to me about a few little things, but she was texting it. And then, so she left for the night. And then she came back to get some stuff. And she brought this big drink home, take upstairs. And I'm like, I asked her not to take it up there because I didn't want all over the carpet. She got mad. She yelled at me about it and called me just some names. And then next thing I know, she called the cops. The cops came over here to my house.
Oh, gosh.
And the one cop I was talking to was cool and whatnot and said maybe she just leave her. I was like, I didn't say nothing to her other than I asked her not to take a drink upstairs. So she left, and then she got a few things, and then she came back several weeks later and got the rest of her stuff. And didn't talk for a couple months, and then mid-November I emailed her only because I was paying on this thing for her every month, and I wanted to get the password to cancel it, so I wasn't paying on it anymore. And she was a little nice at first, but then she was kind of using her son against me, trying to make me feel bad. And I have not talked to her since.
And how long ago was that?
That was Labor Day weekend, so that was September 1st of 2019.
Okay, and also, from what you've told me previously, wasn't that your third breakup with her?
Yes.
And the first two times, obviously, you managed to kind of sort things.
Yeah, the first time, yeah, kind of sorted things because of a few things. And the second time is when I started finding out work, like Coach Corey Wayne and Craig Kenneth, and I started watching all that stuff and started working on things and did the no contact and everything. And it definitely worked. I could definitely see it then because, yeah, she was trying to date and couldn't find anybody worthwhile, I guess. But at the same time, though, when she was talking to my daughter's mom when we broke up, I seen the text, and she pretty much told my daughter's mom that the last time I begged her I begged her to come back, but I didn't beg her. I just followed no contact rules, and then when she contacted me, I did the whole, oh, great to hear from you. Let's meet up and talk or whatever or something like that. And that's pretty much how it went. But yeah.
No, I mean, I'm really sorry to hear about all of, you've gone through a real stressful time, obviously. So you don't have children together, do you?
No.
Okay. Firstly, what I was just going to say was, I totally disagree with her when she says that it's normal for people to go through each other's phones. That is really insecure behavior. It's not just insecure, it's really intrusive into your life, because at the end of the day, in a relationship, you have to have great teamwork, but you have to stay individuals. People who blend together into one entity where, they read each other's phones, they do everything the same, they have the same friends, but, those people generally don't last the distance, because you need your own life. You need to stay an individual. So looking through somebody's phone, it's not only disrespectful, it's also kind of blending into each other. I mean, I always say, like, if you don't trust somebody, you can't be in a relationship with them. You can't be in a relationship with somebody and then say, oh, by the way, I have to check their phone every week. You need to trust them in the respect of whoever they're texting. It's fine. It's not going to affect the relationship. In some instances, like you said, you sometimes text your ex or whatever, but that is not threatening your relationship. So it shouldn't be something of concern. And if it is such a concern, she should be speaking with you, and probably you would be the one who was ending it, because you would be like, well, this is unreasonable. But that to one side, I know that you've got some questions. So I wondered, I think you've got 8 questions. Would you like to ask the first question, please?
Yes, no particular order, so hopefully it makes a lot of sense. Let me just give a few words for the question, because maybe it won't make sense, but...
Of course, sure.
So, as me being the dumper of my ex, unblocked me after 5 months, then blocked me for a bit, then unblocked me a month later, and then during the pandemic, it seemed like she kept unblocking me a few times a week. And on the weekend, I'm guessing because she wasn't spending the time with the guy she was seeing. Then I don't know if she accidentally liked one of my pictures on one of my posts, because there was 5 in there, but you had to dive in to go through the pictures. And then she did the whole blocking and unblocking again. And then all of a sudden, this quote that she made for me and tagged me in the other year popped up. When I seen that she unblocked me, I could see it, and it said it was hidden from the timeline. So, my question would be, with her doing that, I remember you saying something about the orbiting thing. I seen that video. Could that be something where she's trying to get me to reach out, react, say something, or do something to boost her ego?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. So what I always say is, nothing works 100% of the time, and nothing fails 100% of the time. And similarly, nothing is a sign 100% of the time, and nothing is not a sign 100% of the time. I think some coaches try to make these things black and white. I certainly don't believe in that. What I try to give is advice based on my own life experience, research into lots and lots of, literally hundreds of other people's experiences. And also, I've done a qualification in relationship and couples counselling. So basically, I put everything together and I try to think, okay, the likely reason is this. So I try to give you the best odds, the best chance. It doesn't always mean it's the way, but it's probably the most likely reason. So in answer to this question, and quite possibly the other ones as well, this is what I believe is to be the most likely answer. So I would have thought that the behavior your ex is showing in blocking you and unblocking you and switching between both of those is really showing the inconsistency in her feelings and thoughts towards you, which I like to reference it as imagining there is this level of romantic emotional attraction. And when people are in a relationship, it's very, very high. And when certain things happen, it lowers. And when it lowers to a certain level, that is when somebody will want to end a relationship. So then in my mind, how I try to describe it is that if that can be raised through things such as the no contact rule and other hints and tips, if that can be raised, then once it gets to a certain level again, that is when they will want to reach out. So my thoughts are that your ex is possibly hovering in this period of almost hitting this marker and then drifting back down, and then almost going back up and back down. And I think one moment she is thinking, right, I really want to reach out. She's unblocked you. She's probably thinking initially, I'm hoping I'm unblocking him. I'm hoping maybe he might make some contact. And then all of a sudden, she's thinking, oh, no, I'm not ready, and blocks you again. And it's probably a good thing that you aren't reaching out during this period, because the fact she quickly blocks you again, it shows how inconsistent her feelings are. And what we really wanted to go that extra mile. We want her just to go further to the point of where she stabilizes and keeps you unblocked. And then after a certain period of time, I think the most likely situation is that she will eventually reach out to you. That is what I would think is the most likely outcome for your first question, is that she's hovering between nearly reaching out and not reaching out. That is what I would think.
Okay. And can I say something to help add to the audience?
Sure.
On that. Now, I just want people to know that this literally started after I posted a picture with a girl Valentine's weekend.
Okay, that's interesting.
2020. And after that weekend, I got unblocked. But I also know that she has a fake Facebook profile. I know that because she's mentioned it before. So, and you know how a lot of people are saying, oh, well, my ex and this and that, and it's been a month or two. Let everybody know that you're literally, this has been 5 months that I was totally blocked and no signs of nothing.
That's really good for you to say, because some people, they get blocked and they're panicking, obviously. I mean, it's of course not the best position to be in. But from what you've just said, William, you're basically giving everybody hope that, okay, your ex hasn't reached out yet, but you've been unblocked, you know? And it does happen out of the blue. Like when people say, oh, you know, my ex contacted me out of the blue, they unblocked me out of the blue. When you think about it, it's always going to be that way. You know, they're not going to kind of get somebody to tell you first, oh, by the way, in 2 weeks, your ex is going to message you. So, you know, there's always that feeling of shock. But for you to give a great example there, you know, it was like 5 months of absolutely nothing. And then you post a photo of you and another girl. And all of a sudden, you know, she's starting to block you again. Now, I always say that it's really important to try and not look at your ex's social media, because it very rarely will give you a positive feeling. It will normally just make you even more confused. However, you can use your social media as a tool. Now, whether you was meaning to or not is almost irrelevant. By you posting that photo of you with another girl, that has likely drip-feeded back to your ex, either through her fake profile, where she was monitoring you maybe, or maybe friends of friends, or anyhow. But I think there is a very good chance that photo kind of tipped her over the edge. It gave her that extra intrigue and interest, and it raised that romantic emotional attraction like one step further, to the point of where she had to unblock you. And for me now, I think she's kind of just hovering in this nearly period.
Yeah, because to add to that, she was already dating a guy for probably 3 months. She met a guy a couple months after our breakup, and then she was probably dating him for at least 3 months before that.
Okay. I mean, yeah, again, something important to add to people listening. A concern some dumpies have is they say, look, you know, I hear what you're saying. get back out dating, even if, you know, you don't really want long term. And they're worried, thinking, well, if it gets back to my ex, then they won't ever want to speak to me again. That couldn't be further from the truth. Your dumper is not going to think to themselves, right, they're in a relationship, I'm not going to contact. Doesn't work like that. If anything, it's going to intrigue them more. And similarly, if they are in a relationship, although it might mean they are less likely to have time to think about the past, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get contact. You know, dumpers often contact dumpees when the dumper is in a new relationship. So what I always try to say to people is, we have one life. We have one life, and you don't want to waste it. Do not waste time. And the beauty of following the theory, which I try to promote, is that it's win-win, because you can do all these things such as chatting to new people, dating new people, and you can also potentially get your ex back. It's not going to affect it negatively. You know, sitting at home twiddling your thumbs is wasting your life. You know, you may as well be dating new people, speaking to new people. It is not going to stop your ex. If your ex is at the point of wanting to contact you, they will. It doesn't matter if you was married. So, whether you was meaning to do it or not, I think that possibly raised her level of romantic emotional attraction even more. And I think it really, really helped your cause.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree, get out there. I mean, a couple months after the breakup, when I knew she was met someone else, I got out there and I started dating. And yeah, it felt a little weird and awkward and whatnot, but I had to get out because, like you said, you know, you're meshed with one person, so you got to, you know, and all my friends are real busy, so it's like, okay, I just got to meet women and I'm not expecting anything out of it, and that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah, and good for you. You know, I don't know what happened with the girl you had the photo with, but the fact you had a photo with somebody, you know, shows you was at least on a date. So, you know, that's a good thing. You know, and good for you on that. So what's your second question, please, William?